Today we're going to talk about 6 important things to remember when you're running a business. I'm Brady Nash, and this is The Accidental Entrepreneur. Number 1, what problem are you solving? You know, when I started this, I actually had five things, and I thought about the 6. Well, I don't want to take for granted. When you're starting a business, you should really have something that people want and people need. So do you have a better mousetrap, or what problem are you solving that's not already solved? Or if it's a problem that already is being solved, I'm assuming you think you have a better solution for it, or a better experience, or a better value. And so number 1 is making sure that you've done some market research. Friends and family is a great place to start, but I would also go and get some people that are going to be honest to you, because friends and family might tell you your idea is great, but would they pay for it? And what would they pay for it? Meaning a lot of people, oh yeah, that's a cool idea. Oh, I would use that. But they would use it if it was given to them. Would they pay for it? And if so, what would they pay for it? For example, you might have a solution that costs you $100 to solve, but if someone's only willing to pay $20 for it, you've got a problem. And so these are things you should be vetting, like, hey, this is what it cost me to fix the problem. What's the value I'm bringing, and what's the perceived value, and what would the market actually bear? So that's the first step, is really making sure you got a viable product and solution that people will pay for. Number 2, focus on revenue. The old adage, sales fixes everything, there's a lot of truth to it. Everything else is important, and I'm not trying to knock that, but I'm going to tell you right now, you can start a business and you can start making money if you can sell. If your product sucks, you're probably not going to get repeat customers. Nowadays with the internet, if you get bad reviews, it might hurt your new sales, but you can at least start something if you're good enough at selling. So once you establish your idea, is actually selling your idea, because talk is cheap. Lots of people have ideas, but if you can't get in front of people, if you can't get people to give you money for your product, you're not going anywhere. You can have the best product in the world, but if you can't articulate the value of that, if people don't believe the value of that, it doesn't matter. The other thing is, if you don't have any customers, you probably don't have to worry about operations. You don't have to worry about support. You don't have to worry about investing in software and solutions. And so if you do all these things, but you haven't sold it yet, thinking you're going to be able to sell, you can get yourself into a big problem. And I've seen that happen where people already assume the sale. They assume they're going to get all these customers. So they spend all this time in this other stuff, and time and money. They don't even have any revenue, and they're starving. And then by the time they get to try to get customers, they realize, oh, they missed the market. It's not what people want. And they don't have the revenue to keep going, and they implode. It sounds dumb, but it happens a lot. And so some ideas on focusing on revenue. So we have a product called Connect Booster. It's an online bill pay product we developed really to solve our own problem. We went to a conference and show and realized everyone had this problem. And now Connect Booster, that was formed in 2010, works with thousands of businesses across North America. And it's because we solved the problem that we had, that everyone else had, and no one had really solved yet. And so that's what I mean of, making sure you have a solution that people want, and a solution that people are willing to pay for. And we bring way more value than what we charge. Sounds like a pitch. It kind of is, but that's the point I'm trying to make, is people want it because it's a huge pain point. The other thing is, this software product consistently, it's evolving. There's other pain points that we're trying to solve with it. Maybe it's even improving our current system for automation of billing notices, making it, what other ways can we make it easier for our customers to get paid within that platform? Security is a big deal. Like, hey, what additional features can we make it even more secure than where we have it today? How can we make it easier for people to buy our product? Or, for example, we integrate with different solutions, running a poll on our customers of, hey, if we integrated our software product to a new accounting software, say it was like Sage or Business Central, how many people would buy it? Do we know? Instead of thinking, oh, a lot of people have said that. Well, do the research, count them. Reach out to them and say, hey, I would pre-sell that, hey, if we build this integration for you, would you be a customer? And so you might be able to have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 customers already that have agreed that, and they'll also be a lot more pot committed, right? If you say, hey, I'm doing this for you. If I invest this amount of money, you're going to be a customer. Yes, maybe you even sign an agreement with them. Maybe it's a verbal, depending on your relationship. You can approach it differently. But the point is, you can pre-sell something before it's done. And if you did something for someone, they feel pretty most people would be, feel pretty committed to you at that point if you did it for them, but you could already have 30, 40 customers in the bank, meaning it's going to be profitable from the moment you release that new feature or new product because they told you they wanted it. So again, pre-selling is a really smart idea to make sure that you're going down the right path, because if people will tell you what they want to hear when they're trying to be nice, but they speak with their checkbooks, so make sure you're talking to their checkbook. Number 3, invest in infrastructure. So what I mean by infrastructure and resources, that could be people resources, that could be software, that could be accounting software, that could be a CRM or PSA tool, a tool that you use to manage your customers, so you could manage problems that they have. Maybe that's a customer service solution or it's a sales solution. What things can you invest so your business is more scalable? And often entrepreneurs start and it's just them or one or them and their spouse or a friend of theirs. And so you get used to being able to do everything yourself and keep it in your mind. Well, that's not scalable. And so if your plan is to scale and grow, make sure you start building a foundation so you have the ability to scale and grow. You have some documentation. When you start hiring new people, you don't want them to have to learn from scratch from the ground up. You want to be able to teach them. And so knowing when and where you need to start investing, and yes, that means you make less money. That means you're taking profit that you could have and you're delaying that satisfaction for the future satisfaction that should be a lot more, right? And so again, depending on your business model, I'm going to relate to IT because we work with a lot of IT technology companies. Typically, they start off as one or a two-man or woman group, and they start doing everything themselves because they have a lot of knowledge. But then they want to start hiring people, but they don't have these processes down. And so then they got to start investing into CRM or tools that will help automate or manage this. How do you interact with clients better? And so again, looking for ways to make it easy for people to pay you. That's why we invested Connect Booster, because people were spending all this time chasing down bills for work they've already done. Well, that makes no sense. For example, if you were billing at $100 an hour, or say $150 an hour, and you billed for 1 hour, and now you spend another hour trying to collect that payment, you didn't make $150 in an hour, you made $75. You see the insanity? Automate things you can automate, streamline the things you can streamline, make it a system that you can plug new people into, and they don't have to be as good as you. They don't have to be as smart as you. They don't have to know all the ropes. That's a failed business model, right? If they have all your same talents and skills, they're probably going to do their own business. Why are they going to work for you? And so you've got to make systems and processes for people can plug into. They can take your experience and knowledge and then be successful is a huge part. So investing into your people, investing into software and technology, and this continues to scale up, and I believe is a never-ending process as you grow. So make sure you're not pulling too much off the table and you're thinking about where you want to go in the future. Number 4, be a decisive decision maker. So I'm going to tell you, if you're watching this video right now, you're probably someone that's interested in, you make decisions. You made the decision to take the time to watch this because you felt it was valuable. I feel entrepreneurs are people that have learned to be decisive decision makers and they move forward, or else you probably wouldn't be an entrepreneur. But there's still areas we can definitely improve. And in business, you don't have all the answers. It's not like the tests we took when we were growing up. It's not the right, wrong, yes, no, this is the correct answer, this is the wrong answer. That's not real life in most cases. That's definitely not entrepreneurship. What I mean by that is, and you guys that are in business understand that there's gray areas. It's not a matter of if something is successful typically. For me, it's how successful is it? How good of the return is it? Is it 60%, 70%, 80%, or 20%? And so for me, I try to take my experience, my knowledge, and the research. I don't want to make dumb decisions or brash decisions, but a decision needs to get made because no decision is a decision. And you guys know you don't learn from that. And you need to be able to look at I very quickly, it's one of my traits is I very quickly make decisions. I look at it, I ask questions, I'm open for feedback, but ultimately there's very few decisions, unless I know I'm emotionally charged. I've learned that, hey, I need to make sure it's not an emotional decision. I'll step back if I'm mad or angry or too happy or whatever. You can make a foolish decision on emotion. So I try to make sure I'm at a level, platform. I try to keep myself never too high, never too low, pretty even kill. But make a decision, and you might make a wrong decision. That's okay. Entrepreneurship and business is making adjustments. It's admitting that you don't always know. Based upon the information that you have at that point in time and your understanding, this seems like the right solution. Make the decision. And either find out you were right, or maybe you were wrong, or maybe a little adjustment needs to get made. Maybe it's somewhere in between. That's really, for me, business is consistently and repeatedly making uncomfortable, tough decisions that aren't right or wrong. There's different ways you could get there. And to be honest, you might have 2 or 3 decisions and either one of them would actually work. Either one of them would eventually get you to the finish line. Your job is to find out which one's the most efficient, which one's got the highest probability of success, which one is the majority of my team gonna appreciate, right? And so, as we've grown, now we're over 130 employees, there's no way any decision I make that everyone would have done things the same way. Everyone's gonna have an opinion. I'm trying to figure out what's the best solution that impacts my team the best, the most people the best, right? How can I have a 60%, 70%, 80%? I'm someone that I wanna be in the 90% where, people are happy and people are agreeing. I can't always control that, but that's what I'm trying to do. And through history of making decisions, you will get better at it. Make a call. If you make that mistake, figure out what you did wrong, learn from it, and you're gonna get better at it. So your probability and percentage of making good decisions just gets better. I feel like our fearlessness of making decisions is why we've gotten to where we're at. We're not afraid to make mistakes. I'll own it when I do, but I've learned. And I feel like I've just fired the gun more times than anyone else. And because I've done that, I've had more practice. Just like playing basketball, just like playing a sport. It's one thing to go and say, yeah, I play basketball. How good are you? Often it comes down to how much have you practiced? How many shots have you taken? How many dribbles have you made? How many passes have you caught? Right? It's practice. And so in business, get in the habit of practicing a lot. Get in the habit of making decisions. And I promise you, it's going to make you better and you'll move forward faster. Number 5, decide where you want to be in 10 years. So I've talked about this on other videos. We follow a book called Traction. They talk about the EOS Entrepreneur Operating System, and they talk about having a BHAG, which is essentially a big, hairy, audacious goal. It's a 10-year vision, a plan of where you want to be. And I actually do this not only in business, I do this in my life, my personal life, my health, my kids. I try to think about, you're going to be somewhere in 10 years. Where the heck do you want to be personally, in the business, career, whatever that is? Yes, things are going to happen. Yes, we can't control life. Yes, God's got a plan for us. I believe that. But you can still have a plan of where you're trying to go and then deal with the curveballs and things that come up, but at least know what you're fighting for every single day. And so for me, figuring out that 10-year big plan of where I want to be, then it's breaking down the steps of, okay, where are my check marks, right? Like just in a video game, there's checkpoints. Where are my checkpoints where I stop and reflect that, am I on track? Do I have to make any adjustments? And people can do this in weight, they can do it in strength training, they can do it in their knowledge of a career or path that, hey, breaking down the reverse math of where do I need to be percentage-wise to make sure I'm on track, and then breaking that down into a 3-year goal, right? That's a little bit more real because you can see it closer, right? To a 1-year plan, which is even more visible, right? Or into what you're doing down to a quarterly to monthly to even daily tasks. You can break it down, how much you work out, how many sales calls you make, your calorie restriction, the amount of water you drink, again, going back to fitness because I think it's super relatable. But in business, I look at how many, if you have revenue numbers, that typically comes down to marketing. How many people do we got to get in front of? How many leads do we get? Based upon how many leads do you have? How many sales do we make? How much money do we make, for those sales? Go into revenue. It's a math problem. And then does your math problem of what you're doing today, does it equal where you will hit your goals? And if not, why not? Do you need more leads? Do you got to improve your closing ratio because you need more sales or revenue? Or do you need to change your expectation because you're doing everything you can and you think you're doing great? and you're where you want to be, but it doesn't meet your goal. So you need to change your goal because your goal was unrealistic. Like it was impossible. You set yourself up for failure. That's fine because that'll happen too, right? It's like saying, I want to make $1 billion tomorrow. Well, that's probably not just going to happen, right? I'm not saying you can never make $1 billion, but there's probably a huge process and plan that takes time to even have a remote shot of making that happen. So again, I just want to make sure that you have a plan of where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going, how do you know when you get there? Right? People talk about having goals and all of a sudden they look back in their life and like, holy cow, where did time fly? How did I get here? And you didn't even know where you're going. So that's exactly where you ended up. Nowhere. Right? Probably where you wanted to be. And so again, I'm a big believer, and everyone's life should be defined, by them and what they want their life. And everyone has their own vision of what their life should be and what success looks like. It's not purely money. It could be family. It could be health. It could be impact on the world. All of those are great things, and thank God that He made us all differently. So define what that is. And let's just make sure that you're taking the steps that's important to you, not what I think, not what your parents think, not what your spouse thinks, what's important to you. Because if it's important to you, that's going to give you the drive and the energy to pull you forward through the tough times, through the challenges. And when you don't know if you want to get up, and whether that's working out, or you don't want to make that call, or you got to have the uncomfortable conversation, you're dealing with an issue, you'll have a reason of why you're dealing with it. And that's what pulls you forward. Otherwise, it's like, why would you deal with stress, right? You need to go back and have a memory, a reason of why you're doing that. Number 6, work with people that love what you do. The people you work with will make or break you. Life is hard. Running a business is hard. And I've always looked at stacking the deck in my favor, meaning I feel like I'm cheating at life, and I want to teach you the secrets too, right? And so you guys heard that, you're a combination of the top 4 or 5 people you hang out with the most, right? How you talk, your accent, your thought process, your energy, your attitude. Are you positive minded? Are you negative minded? Are you complaining, or are you optimistic, right? How ambitious are you? Typically, it's who you hang around. It's typically who you become. It's like you are what you eat. It's like you are who you hang around. It's the same thing. And so for me, whatever your goals are in life, make sure the people you're surrounding yourself with are people that are going to help you be who you want to be, and are people that will help you get to where you want to go. So for me, people, our core values, we've talked about excellence. I want to not just be status quo. I don't want to just check a box. I want to be above and beyond. When people interact with me or the company, I want them to be like, wow, they are not normal. They go above and beyond. Do we fall short of that at times? Yeah. But we do everything we can to address it. We work on training our people. We work in having standards. We work in having measurables to make sure we're hiring the right people, and we keep a standard of excellence. And we will never be perfect, but it's a constant effort to raise that bar and not just check a box, but to be excellent at what we do. Something that we're going to be excited about. We're going to be prideful about, right? And so again, we look at ambition. I don't want people that are lazy. I don't want people that, I got to go to work. I suppose I'll show up. Yeah, I can do that. Or I'm going to sit here until someone tells me to do something. I want people that are fired up about life, that want to do things, that want to help customers, that want to make money, that want to grow in their career, that want to grow in their personal life. That's contagious. I know it's going to help me when I have days that I'm not as ambitious as I normally am. Like, we all have up and down days. And so I try to put myself around people that when I do have bad days, they're going to make me better. They get me back to who I want to be and where I want to go. And so again, look at the values that you want to surround yourself with. So we have excellence, we have ambition, we have creativity. In our world, we solve problems. I need people that are creative and find ways to make things work. And sometimes there's not a great answer, but there's almost always a way you could make something work. So I want creative people. These are typically people that their first answer isn't no, it's let me think about that. Well, this is what you could do, right? I want creativity in our world, and there are people that make me smarter, they make me better, because our mindset is, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how. And then what's the best house? Because we come up with a couple of ways you could do something. We look at integrity. For us, trust is everything. I think would you want to date someone you can't trust? Probably not. Would you want to marry someone you can't trust? No. Would you want to work for somebody that you can't trust? No. Would you want to hire somebody that you can't trust? No. So really, integrity is something that everybody wants, right? Even if you're not the nicest person, like integrity is a big deal for everyone. Like trust is huge. So for me, I want people that I don't have to question. I don't want to have to assume or think that someone might be lying. And I know it's burned me in the past, but I try to see the good in people. I want to trust people. And so I try to stack the deck and protect myself by hiring really good people that have integrity so I don't get burned, because there are people that just wouldn't do that in general. And the final one for me, which is the most important, probably unique, was happy and grateful. And what I mean by that was I want people that don't complain. It's one thing to talk about an issue. It's another thing to complain, right? If you're talking about an issue with the intent of solving it, that's a huge thing for me. I want people that are happy for other people. If someone gets an ice cream cone, right? You should be happy they have an ice cream cone, not like, why the heck didn't I get an ice cream cone? If somebody wins the lottery, you should be happy they won the lottery. Not the, why the heck didn't I win the lottery? John won the lottery. He doesn't even need the money. He's going to waste it on stupid stuff. I could have used it. The point is, for me, I'm looking into the soul of someone, is their mindset and attitude. And are they someone that are toxic, that are poisonous, that are going to bring you down? Do they look for reasons to be mad? Do they look for reasons to complain? Do they look for reasons to point out flaws or issues? Because if you want to find them, they're all over the world. Problems and issues and things that aren't perfect. That's the entire world we live in. But I want people that understand where we're at, but want more. That's the ambition and excellence part. It's like, hey, I'm so grateful for where we're at. Like if I never made another dollar, right? I'm so thankful and appreciative, and I have more than I need. Do I have ambition to want more? Yeah. I want to make more money. I want to be able to give more. I want to be able to grow. I think I'm smart, but I know I can be a lot smarter, right? I think I'm a good leader. I want to be a better leader. I think I'm a good husband. I want to be a better husband. I think I'm a really good dad. I know I can be better. And so again, I'm trying to surround myself with really good people that have those same skills that make me better. And so stack the deck in your favor. If you find people that buy into that, I'm telling you, you get more belief and more energy behind, and you become an unstoppable force, right? Because it's not just you, and you will have bad days. You will have days you doubt yourself. So stack yourself with people that are going to hold you up and you can't fall over. Again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment any ideas that you have. I want to hear them. This is for you guys, not for myself. I want to provide you guys with inspiration and ideas. And if I can plant the seed or I can water a seed that's already there to help you move forward in your journey, that's my purpose. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again next time.